The land runs red when a child is king. Guilt is not inheritable. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of James Enge's Blood of Ambrose. Blood of Ambrose is a 2009 novel by James Enge. I'm not really sure how to say his name, so I'm going to call him James. But it is book one in the more like Ambrosius trilogy, though there are plenty more accompanying short stories of the character. It is divided into 5 parts. It really kind of starts with a bang, but part 2 repeats some of the stuff in part 1 and becomes tedious. Parts 3 through 5 really bring it back, though, and it's essentially a sword and sorcery Arthurian story. Morlock is the titular character, but young Lathmar, who is essentially kind of a young King Arthur in this case, really is the main character, as the story really just revolves around him retaining his throne. He's only 12 at the start, and his uncle pushes for power. Lathmar flees to find Ambrosius for his very many great-grandmother Ambrosia, who says to go and find him pretty much. They are long-lived but crooked-shouldered siblings whose father's name is Merlin. Besides this name, it seems loosely connected to Britain, but otherwise is in a secondary world with 3 moons. Ambrosius is pretty much the boogeyman to commoners, but as a master craftsman and as a dwarf companion that works rather well as a comedic relief character. His name was Wirth. He is Morlock's apprentice and comes with him to the Imperial Society of Auntil. He is long-lived like his master, but at 150 years old, he's only half of Morlock's age, or maybe even less than that. The parts for the book each have epigrams. There's quotes by Shakespeare, Marlowe, Malory, Shirley, Tennyson, Virgil. The style itself kept me kind of disconnected from the characters for a good chunk of the story. I didn't really quite get the Arthuriana vibes I wanted, and I didn't quite get all the sword and sorcery kicks that I wanted as well. But in the end, I was pretty satisfied with the book. There's some really cool scenes that just, they often don't feel pulse-pounding, but it's nicely weird at times, and definitely not the blood and thunder type of sword and sorcery, which I also appreciate. Though, again, there are several times where it works better. I feel like it was definitely written in these parts, because each part does progress to a conclusion at the very end of the book. They just, I don't know, they just build up intensity. The way they're written, they kind of read like short stories in a sense, but it was kind of refreshing. It's not a favorite. It's not really bad, though, and so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Kind of mixed, right? Like, definitely parts I was very much bored at. Other parts I was very much entertained at. But, it has some awesome sword and sorcery elements farther in, and I really like the ending. And since I couldn't really guess where this one was going, I can only imagine what book 2 brings with the conclusion we got here. Anyways, I'll catch you next time.